This is channel 7 right here. I was here. I feel like I don't want to say month. I talk about the books that I read for that month. So a monthly wrap up. Fitzgerald Williams Darcy or whatever his name is. He's staying at this home, and this home is just like, it's crazy. I don't know. Our main character, what is going on? It is July. What day is it? It's July 31st, which means that I'm here to talk about books. Every month, I talk about the books that I read for that month. So a monthly wrap up. I definitely make more book related content if I had the audience for it, but I don't think I do yet. By the grace of God, man. Y'all book people, come this way, because I love books and I love book content, but yeah. All right, let's get into the books that I read for the month of July. So at the end of June, I talked about, or I guess in my last book wrap-up video, I raved about The Summer I Turned Pretty and was saying I was really excited to read the next 2 books in the trilogy. And obviously I read them like right away. So we have It's Not Summer Without You by Jenny Han and We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. First of all, these are some of the prettiest covers. They're summery, they're simple, and I really, really love them. I saw the older covers for these books and they were not it. The older covers are not it. So make sure if you ever pick these up, you get like the new covers because they're colorful and they're really cute. Let's talk about my opinions on this series as a whole, because I can't really talk about these 2 books in depth without spoiling it. And if you're curious to the details of what this is about, check out my June wrap up. The main setting of this series or trilogy takes place at a beach house. Susanna and Laurel have been best friends since forever, and they've been going to this beach house since forever. So when they had their own kids, they started bringing them here. So Conrad, Jeremiah, Stephen, and Belly have been coming to the summer house since they were children, hanging out with each other, having a good time. And Belly has always had like a thing for Conrad, essentially, since she was a kid. And now that she's like, I don't know, 15, 16 years old as this story progresses, 17, 18, you know the drill. Her feelings for Conrad are obviously strengthening and solidifying. I really loved this trilogy, and honestly, I think I said this in my last one, that it might be my favorite contemporary trilogy, and it definitely is. And I say that because I just relate very deeply to the story, not because anything in it particularly like reflects my life, but something about the story just really resonates with me. And it just feels nostalgic. Like, I don't know why. But yeah, The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy. Okay, last summer I read The Betrothed by Kira Cass, and I kind of ranted about how it was a little bit of a mess. It wasn't organized, it wasn't planned properly, like the plot was just chaotic. And honestly, on Goodreads, the reviews were pretty bad as well. But ultimately, I came to the conclusion that it doesn't matter how bad the planning of it was and how messy the plot was, because I enjoyed it. I loved it. I really did. And then this year, the second book, The Betrayed by Kira Cass, came out, and I picked this up the minute it hit the market. Chapters sometimes drops books like a day or 2 early, and I'll be in the bookstore not expecting to see it there, and I'll just buy it. Why do they do that? I don't care. I like it. I like it. But I finally read it. I finally read it. And oh my gosh, guys. I just, the way this made me feel. I mean, okay, let's put this into perspective. When I finished the last book, I said the only way to redeem the mess that was book 1 is through this book. And I had like an idea of how everything could be kind of fixed and redeemed, and like none of that happened. Like none of it happened. But that was okay, because what happened was even better. And I can't even believe I'm saying this, because at the beginning I was like, I see what's happening and I don't know that this is okay. But then it happened and I was like, oh my God, this is so okay with me. Like this is beyond okay. This is better. So Hollis Brightly was one of the women or girls in court. She grew up there basically. She was one of the like esteemed families, and she was basically betrothed to the king. So they were, you know, courting, and it was pretty evident to everyone that she was going to be the one to marry him. And things happened, and that was not exactly the case, which, I mean, I don't know, am I ruining that by saying it? I mean, I feel like you kind of just guess, but that's not what happened. Well, situations happen and things get really dark and tragic really quickly, and then this book happens and we're thrust into this darkness and this very unfortunate tragedy that has just occurred, and we're trying to figure out, okay, where my footing is, what's gonna happen next. I think the plot was pretty well executed. I think there was a goal and an objective, and Kira Cass fulfilled that objective in this story. I think if you don't like politics or like, I don't want to say military strategy, I'm gonna say political strategy, you might not like this because there's a lot of discussion about that, but it's not to the point where you're like, I don't understand politics, so I can't understand this. Like, I think it was pretty reasonable discussion. I was here, I feel like I don't want to say that, okay, this has a bit of an enemies to lovers vibe going on, and I personally totally was into it. I was. So I gave this 4 stars. Anyways, I don't know that I even explained anything that happened in this book properly, but sometimes you just 4 stars. The next book that I read, am I gonna go in chronological order? No, I don't think so. Actually, okay, let's talk about North and South by Emily Glasgow. Again, last summer I read Cranford by Emily Glasgow because people were like, oh, her writing is beautiful. And if you're into classics and really nice writing, like, you're gonna love her. And to be honest, I did not love her. I hated Cranford. In fact, I think I gave it 1 star. It was boring, nothing happened, there was no plot, it was purely character driven, and I didn't care about any of the characters, so it was not for me. Not to say that it was a bad book, because the writing was in fact very lovely, but the book, no, not really. So this summer I was like, let me give Emily Glasgow another try, because there's North and South, and a lot of people have said that if you love Pride and Prejudice, this is like an industrial version of that. So I was really excited. I was like, okay, she has created an industrial Pride and Prejudice, like, let's get with that. But honestly, I just was not into it. It wasn't bad, I didn't give it 1 star or anything, I just wasn't into the book at all. It wasn't, I was looking for Darcy energy, and I just didn't get that from, what's his name? John Thornton or something? Is that his name? Or is that, wait, hold up. Okay, hold on. This is what, I don't remember what his name was, but there's like this character from Northanger Abbey. He's the brother of Isabella, and I just, in my head, was like, wait, is John Thornton her brother? I don't know. I gave this book 3 stars, I think. It wasn't bad, it just wasn't my cup of tea. That being said, I just think Emily Glasgow's writing, although beautiful, and her storytelling, I just don't think it's really for me. I don't know that she's a classic author that I will be revisiting in the future. Moving on to a book that I did love. I have read this, or I have like opened this up twice and put it down, and finally I was like, we are going to read this book. And oh my gosh, what have I been doing with my time? What have I been doing with my time? Wasting it, because when I opened this book, I felt like I knew, this was a good use of time, is what I'm trying to say. So this is His Only Wife by Peace. I mean, I know I'm Nigerian, but I can't pronounce every Nigerian name. In fact, this may not even be a Nigerian author. This may be a Ghanaian author, which, this is so chaotic. I feel like my videos have just been getting more like chaotic, and I've just been like, it is what it is. Like, I'm not gonna refilm this because it's a mess. I just don't have it in me. Anyways, this book is His Only Wife, and Afi is our main character. So she is basically, at the beginning of the book, getting married, which is a very exciting thing for anybody who is in love and wants to be married, to be walking down the aisle on your wedding day. Except she's not excited because she's literally marrying a man she's never met. It's an arranged marriage, and she's doing this for her mom, she's doing this for her aunt or auntie, she's doing this for the people in her life more than anything at first, right? She shows up to this wedding and her husband is not there. Like, someone is standing in for him or something, or like he's being just, it's a traditional wedding, so I mean, I guess it's allowed, but he's just not there. And that is how this relationship starts. Her never meeting this man and him never showing up to their wedding. The reason his family wanted him to marry Effie is because he was with another woman that they did not like. And they didn't want him to marry her. So they were trying to get rid of her by getting him to marry Effie. And Effie was aware of this arrangement, but she wasn't aware of the fact that he was still with this other woman when she was getting married. And that complicates matters and situations because Elikem is, like, honestly, I think he's a good person. I personally really liked him. I really liked him. I mean, he does have that traditional West African male vibe. So, I mean, that's that. But I personally really liked him. I give 4.5 stars. Ooh, it was a good time. It deals with such important topics too, like female independence and family and friendship. Let's talk about the audio. Well, I didn't actually realize. Let's talk about Remote Control by Nnedi Okorafor, because, again, like, I've been meaning to read this. Oh, Veronica Roth has a little spiel at the beginning. I like Veronica Roth because I love Divergent. Now, the rest of that trilogy, Allegiant in particular, I don't know what that's about, but I love Divergent, and I actually really love Insurgent. It used to be my favorite in the trilogy. I don't know why, but now Divergent is, Insurgent's my second. Allegiant does not exist. That book is a duology. I don't even know why I'm talking about that because I'm holding a different book. Remote Control. Oh, this book was incredible. That being said, my rating may not reflect my feelings towards this book, but I'll explain that a little bit later. This is a novella. It's very short, so there's not much I can say without spoiling it. So I'm just gonna say this. An event happens, and Sankofa wakes up, doesn't remember her name, and suddenly everything she touches that's technological dies, and with one look she can kill a multitude of people. I feel like that's just a good enough premise for you to read this. Like, I don't know. I think that's good enough for you to read this. Now, getting to my rating, I give this 3 stars. And the reason I gave it 3 stars is because it's a novella. And I know that sounds like that's really not a good reason, but novellas are so short, and when you want more, you just can't get it because it gives you a little glimpse of someone's story rather than like a trajectory or a long timeline. And I'm more for that timeline type of beginning, middle, and end. This felt more like a middle with flashbacks to the beginning, but there is no ending. I don't know. Anyways, I've probably been talking for like 30 minutes. Why? Who knows? My last book is The Fall of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe. And I've never read an Edgar Allan Poe book. It was kind of like a gothic horror. It wasn't terrifying or scary. It was more like spooky chills, but like a nice spooky chill feeling. Again, this is a short story. It took me 25 minutes to read it, so I don't want to tell you anything else, but a man goes to visit his friend who's been tortured by this event, and crazy stuff happens. Crazy stuff happens. And it's dark, it's dreary. This house, there's something up with this house, and the weather is erratic. It's erratic. Like, they bury his sister, and then just stuff gets whack real quickly. I know I said that I wouldn't give a novella short story like 4 stars. I give this 3.5 stars because I really love the atmosphere of this. Like, I really, really love the atmosphere. I read a physical copy, but then I returned it because it was shiny, and I don't like shiny covers. I don't. Anyways, those are the books. My tailbone hurts. I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna watch the Olympics while I do it. And thanks for watching. Come back next time. My travel vibes, back to school videos are going to be in the next few weeks coming up. So keep an eye out for that. And thank you guys for watching.